The latest bombshell rocking the shores of Los Angeles isn't unfolding on the screens of CBS's The Bold and the Beautiful, but on the highways of Southern California, where news has just surfaced that Tanner Novlin, beloved by viewers as Dr. John Finnegan, has been involved in a harrowing car accident that has left him in critical condition and under intensive medical care. The tight-knit cast and crew are said to be in a state of collective shock, their usual banter backstage replaced by hushed conversations and anxious glances toward the hospital. With Finn's journey currently on indefinite hold and no new scenes featuring the character being filmed, fans are left clutching their remotes, desperate for answers. Why is Finn missing? What fate awaits him, Steffi, and his closest allies? And when will the mysterious reason behind his sudden disappearance be revealed on air? Over the years, B&B writers have whisked several characters out of the show in near silence. One day they're central to the narrative, the next they vanish without explanation, so it would hardly be unprecedented for Finn to simply fade from view. But this time, the stakes feel immeasurably higher. Dr. Finnegan, after all, has shouldered some of the most heart-wrenching storylines in recent memory. His romance with Steffi Forrester blossoming against all odds, his fierce loyalty as he became the Spencer family's adopted son, and his courageous stand by his friend Liam Spencer during Liam's battle with the brain cancer Grace Buckingham orchestrated. Which begs the question, will the writers concoct a plot-driven vanishing act for Finn that ties directly into the season's most explosive arc, that of Grace Buckingham's fake tumor racket and her embezzlement scheme? Grace, aware that Finn is quietly piecing together the evidence of her deception, after all, he's the only one who witnessed the phantom clinic she used to dupe Liam and drain Bill Spencer's coffers of a staggering $1 million, may have cause to panic. If Finn unearths the truth, Grace's meticulously crafted facade will crumble, sending her straight to prison. And when an adversary stands to lose everything, eliminating the threat can appear to be the only way out. Could the writers steer the storyline toward Grace orchestrating an accident of her own design, ensuring Finn never returns to expose her? The dark possibility electrifies every rumor mill in the soap world. As speculation mounts, viewers are also deeply concerned for Steffi. Having weathered betrayal, loss, and peril at nearly every turn, the resilient Forrester matriarch must now face the unthinkable. The sudden vanishing of the man whose love restored her faith and whose devotion gave her hope. How will she cope with unanswered questions, whispers of foul play, and the gnawing terror that Finn may have been silenced for uncovering Grace's crimes? Steffi has already proven time and again that she can rally armies to her cause, but this invisible enemy, a faceless, unknown assailant operating behind a veil of deceit, presents a challenge unlike any she's ever faced. Meanwhile, in the Spencer mansion, Liam grieves once more, this time not for lost love or a life cut short by disease, but for a friend and brother who simply vanished. Liam remembers how Finn shattered the lies around his tumor, the anguish in his voice when Grace finally confessed, and how he stepped up, time and again, to be the shoulder Liam leaned on as he braved the scariest chapter of his life. Now, forced to confront Finn's unexplained absence, Liam must grapple with a reckoning far more local than the medical battlefield he once faced, the prospect that someone in his orbit could have sabotaged his friend's fate. Bill Spencer, too, finds himself haunted by the echoes of Finn's last words before he headed out on that fateful day. Did Grace approach Finn in desperation? Did someone else, an unknown enemy or a ghost from Finn's past, lay in wait? As Bill struggles to contain the fallout of his company's financial ruin at Grace's hands, he must now marshal the resources of Spencer Publications and Spencer Publications' private investigators to hunt down clues about Finn's last known whereabouts, medical status, and the events leading up to the accident. Factor in Hope Logan's heartbreak, she, too, has come to rely on Finn's wisdom and compassion, and you have a recipe for a family's worst nightmare. Their protector, their confidant, their brother, lying unconscious somewhere, the victim of a vicious conspiracy or unfortunate mishap. Across the ocean, Ridge Forrester and Brooke Logan, temporarily seeking solace in Italy, receive bone-chilling reports that Finn's accident happened while en route to a location tied to Grace's web of lies. The same twisting back roads where Liam once found himself stranded after a medical scare. The sense of poetic, if tragic, irony is not lost on the group of weary survivors who have become Steffi, Ridge, Brooke, Liam, and Hope. Suddenly, their European escape feels more like an extended vigil in foreign hospitals, embassies, and church basements as they attempt to unravel the mystery from halfway across the globe. The overarching question looms large for audiences and characters alike. Will and B's writers honor the gravity of Tanner Novlan's real-life emergency by crafting a thoughtful, respectful storyline that explains Finn's disappearance? Or will they plunge headlong into melodrama, depicting Grace as a cold-blooded murderer, showering viewers with police procedurals, autopsies, and courtroom revelations that outshine the daytime drama's usual emotional brawls? If Grace is indeed unmasked as the mastermind behind Finn's crash, staging it to look like a tragic hit-and-run or a mechanical failure, she will join the annals of the bold and the beautiful's greatest villainesses, matching even Sheila Carter in her capacity for deception and cruelty. But such a plot twist would demand a delicate balance between sensationalism and sensitivity, particularly given that it mirrors too closely the shock and fear audiences feel when beloved actors face real danger off-screen. The writer's next move will signal whether they intend to blur the lines between fiction and reality or to pay tribute to Tanner's struggle by giving Finn an off-screen recovery arc that mirrors the actor's own, allowing him to return stronger and more resolute once Novlan is well enough to step back in front of the camera. Until then, the show's loyal viewers must brace themselves for a roller coaster of grief, suspicion, and hope. With every passing commercial break, their thoughts will drift not only to Steffi pacing the halls of Forrester Creations in search of answers, to Liam staring vacantly at Finn's empty chair at Spencer's dinner table, and to Hope clicking desperately through her phone's ad-ridden news feeds for updates on Tanner's health, but also to the real man behind the role, a husband, a father, a friend, fighting for his life in a hospital bed. Ultimately, the fate of Finn Finnegan on-screen may hinge on the fate of Tanner Novlan off-screen, intertwining reality and fiction in a way that the bold and the beautiful has never dared before. So grab your tissues, steady your hearts, and prepare for a storyline that could eclipse any the writers have ever penned. The disappearance of a hero, the possible treachery of a trusted face, and the desperate search for truth and justice that will keep viewers glued to their sets, praying for a miracle and wondering whether love can truly conquer even the darkest of conspiracies. The week that unfolds from August 4th through August 8th in Los Angeles will shatter every lie Grace Buckingham has ever spun, tear apart alliances forged in secrecy, and test the limits of loyalty for every Spencer, Logan, and Forrester caught in the storm. It begins with Finn standing his ground in a sterile examination room, Grace pacing like a cornered panther, insisting that the truth about Liam's brain cancer must remain between the two of them, that no one else can ever know. Grace pleads, nearly in tears, swearing to Finn that she has her reasons, tax debts mounting like mountains, threats looming in the shadows of her past, but despite her trembling voice and frantic eyes, Finn's face hardens with resolve. He will not be complicit in her deception any longer. When she begs him to keep the secret, he shakes his head solemnly and tells her to come with him. Not to the hospital, not to an interrogation room, but to Spencer Mansion, where the man who thinks he is dying waits in blissful ignorance. Grace's facade cracks as she realizes Finn intends for her to confess everything to Liam Spencer himself, that the lies, the fake tumor, the $1 million con on Bill Spencer, all of it must be laid bare at the feet of the one she betrayed most. She has no choice but to follow Finn through the grand doors of the mansion, down wide hallways lined with family portraits that mock her with images of the truth she stole. Waiting in the gleaming foyer is Hope Logan, whose warmth and kindness suddenly feel like daggers aimed at Grace's heart. Finn's voice is calm yet unyielding as he urges Grace to stop hiding, to stand before Liam and say the words he deserves to hear. That his tumor was never real, that she manipulated his love and his vulnerability for her own gain. Grace's lips tremble as she opens her mouth, but the first sound she makes is a sob, and Liam, looking up from a letter he's reading, every line of his face etched with tired hope, watches her break down. He hears the word fake, the number million, the name Bill, and as each syllable lands, his world fractures. His once steadfast eyes fill with betrayal, shock, and something deeper. A grief for the life he believed he had been handed. Hope gently touches his arm, offering quiet support as Finn watches with compassion and heartbreak, knowing that to save Liam's life he had to destroy the lie holding him captive. As Liam reels, Grace collapses into a chair, her proud posture obliterated by guilt and shame. There is no redemption in her confession, only the raw, brutal aftermath of the truth that will change them all forever. Meanwhile, miles away, Lee Finnegan sits by the bedside of Luna Nozawa, her face pale under hospital lights, monitors beeping a slow, solemn rhythm. Outside, the world moves on, unaware of the tiny warrior inside that fragile body, but Lee refuses to rest. She holds Luna's hand and whispers promises that this coma will not be her end, that every fiber of her being will rally to pull Luna back. With each shallow breath Luna draws, Lee's determination hardens. She vows silently to the sleeping girl that she will not let her slip away, that she will fight for her as fiercely as any Forrester or Logan would fight for theirs. Every hour that ticks by sees Lee leaning closer, refusing to blink, drawing strength from memories of Luna's laughter and dreams. Half a world away in Italy, amid vineyards and sunlit courtyards, Eric Forrester summons Ridge to share startling news. He has seen Nick Marone donning a ring that can only mean one thing. He plans to propose. The image of Nick holding that ring, a symbol of commitment between Ridge's former flame, Brooke Logan, and the man who once coveted her, ignites a spark in Ridge's heart that morphs quickly into panic. The moment Eric mentions Nick's intent, Ridge feels the ground shift beneath him. He cannot allow Brooke to walk into this trap. Without hesitation, he races through winding Tuscan lanes, every step fueled by fear and love. Across the ocean, Brooke is blissfully unaware of the impending crisis, enjoying a leisurely afternoon aboard Nick's yacht, the sea breeze whipping her hair, laughter dancing in her eyes as Nick teases her with sweet promises and tales of a future together. Nick, emboldened by his plan to secure Brooke's hand, pilots the boat just a bit too recklessly, the waves growing choppy, the hull rocking under Brooke's feet. In the captain's chair, Nick grins, but Brooke's laughter turns to startled gasps when a sudden swell knocks her off balance and she tumbles toward the open rail. In the blink of an eye, she plunges toward the dark water, arms flailing, her scream swallowed by wind and waves. Logan. Ridge's voice echoes in Brooke's mind as he bursts onto the deck, breathless, eyes wild with desperation. The world slows. Water sprays his face, the salt stings his eyes, the ring box in Nick's pocket feels like a ticking time bomb, and Ridge lunges, grabbing Brooke's outstretched hand in a heartbeat that feels like an eternity. He hauls her back aboard, his muscles burning, her drenched form trembling in his arms. Brooke's heart pounds against his chest, salt water dripping from her hair, and as she looks up into Ridge's determined gaze, the betrayal stings, Nick's betrayed promises, Grace's monstrous lies. Everything converges in that instant of rescue. Ridge holds her tight, and she realizes with a sobbing rush that no ring from Nick, no scheme by Grace, can compare to the man who risked his own life to save hers. As the yacht steadies, Hope's voice crackles through Ridge's phone news of Liam's confrontation, and Ridge glances toward the horizon, where truths and reckonings await them all. The bold and the beautiful has delivered its gauntlet of deception, danger, and devotion, and as Ridge studies the shaken brook, Finn watches Liam grapple with the fallout of Grace's confession, and Lee stands guard over Luna's fragile fate. One thing is certain. Every secret has been exposed, every heart laid bare, and nothing will ever be the same. The rescue, the revelations, the promises. They all point to a reckoning so explosive that even the grand walls of Spencer Mansion and the opulent decks of a yacht cannot contain the thunder of broken vows and newfound vows yet to be sworn. Keep your eyes glued to the screen, because when love and lies collide this violently, the only certainty is the chaos that follows.
Oh.